Welcome to the Doctor's Mentor Show. If you believe that medicine is an industry and not a profession, if you enjoy submitting complex reimbursement claims, or you would do another residency just for fun, be advised, you're about to be offended. You should probably leave now.
All this talk about mentoring doctors is ridiculous. I thought doctors learned to do everything better than everyone else the first year of medical school. At least that's the way they act.
If you love assisting patients with vitality breakthroughs, if the right to practice medicine without interference is important, and you want expert tips for practice freedom and profits to support your epic life, welcome aboard and prepare to be blown away. The Doctor's Mentor Show starts now. Here's your host, Dr. Lori Barr.
Welcome. My name is Dr. Lori Barr, and this is the inaugural episode of The Doctor's Mentor. This show is the direct result of something that happened to me when I went to see a doctor in the spring. First, let's talk about you. This show is written to support those individuals who have hearkened to the call of Hippocrates and Epicurus. If you don't know who either of those guys were, pause this and go look them up. I'll be right here waiting for you when you get back. For all of you who know you belong in a place where living full out and helping others live peaceful, tranquil lives is important, let's get started. In the spring, I went to see a new doctor for a well woman visit. I'll admit, it had been over a year since I'd visited a doctor, frankly because I was having trouble finding a doctor who envisioned vitality the same way I saw it. See, I want a doctor who's joyful, graceful under pressure, and quick-witted. I want to be greeted with smiles, a handshake, a hug, or a pat on the shoulder. The doctor I gladly pay is one who holds me accountable for my lifestyle choices and who honors the fact that I'm more than just a body. The doctor who reminds me to nurture the non-physical aspects of my being. I want my doctor to help me to do everything in my power to live each moment of my life to the fullest with fun and friskiness until I die. My doctor is slow to resort to pharmaceuticals and quick to offer organic, non-GMO, natural solutions. He's up to date on longevity trends and helps me feel my peak throughout all stages of my life. She values each human life from that of the fetus to that of the octogenarian and beyond, and does her best to do no harm. So I did my homework and went to a clinic that had a great reputation for all of these things. I saw a vibrant doctor who was very pleasant. I was completely stunned when she tenuously laid her hand on my abdomen. I immediately realized something she might not have known herself, and certainly didn't realize she was communicating to me. She didn't have a clue that her first touch spoke louder to me than her smile. What I discovered was, she did not like to touch patients. Say what? A doctor who doesn't want to touch patients? I know it's unbelievable, yet there I was, clean, healthy, optimistic, and knowing that she didn't want to touch me that day. But what I did next, I'm almost ashamed to admit. In fact, I still feel so guilty. I don't have the courage to share it with you just yet. I better spend a few minutes telling you about the show instead. This is a show to make it easier for you to enjoy your career as a healing professional and live your best life until it's over. So some shows will fall under the category of the lifesaver. If you develop your stamina and maximize your energy and grow your emotional resilience, then your patients will be inspired to actually take your advice and live their lives full out too. As the doctor's mentor, I am in the business of saving lives, one doctor at a time. If I can help you overcome a challenge in your practice or in your personal life, then that effect is amplified as you help your patients, colleagues, and family members overcome their challenges. See, they can borrow your confidence in their ability to take responsibility for their lives until they make a habit of trusting themselves to take responsibility for their lives. When you listen to the doctor's mentor, you feel even better about the way you practice your healing art, feeling even better about the way you promote your success and boost your credibility. When you listen to the doctor's mentor, it feels good to know you are prepared for each transition that doctors inevitably face in today's rapidly evolving world. If you want a high-velocity life, you need to hone your grooves and create a high-velocity practice. In case you're wondering why velocity, let's take a random walk in physics for just a sec. Remember that velocity, unlike speed, cannot be described by the magnitude of the number alone. Remember from your high school or college physics, velocity is a vector. It's a value that is described by both magnitude and direction. Your life is a vector quantity. It has both magnitude or minitude if you're choosing to live small right now, and it has direction. Okay, enough physics. Let's get back to the vector velocity. Think of it this way. Soldiers used to defend themselves with muskets that had straight barrels. The muskets shot round musket balls. The heavy ball ranged up to 300 yards, and the accuracy varied depending on how much ignition residue remained in the barrel. Then someone came up with the idea of rifling, putting helical grooves that run the length of the barrel. They also changed the shape of the bullet so that its trajectory could easily be influenced by following those grooves. As a result, bullets shot from rifles are torqued to spin in flight and thus reach a higher velocity and hit the target with increased accuracy. That's what a mentor like me does for you. I identify the grooves to give your flight along your medical career path a higher velocity and more accuracy toward the important targets in your life. Face it, there's more to life than your medical career, although right before boards it might not feel that way. So some episodes of the Doctor's Mentor Show are calls to live, a call for you to be more aware of how you're spending your life. One of my partners, who's madly in love with his wife, just lost her to death. The couple was so passionately in love, it permeated everything they touched. They were amazing mentors in the area of lifelong commitment to marriage and as supportive parents for their children and grandchildren. They practically grew up together and helped all of us grow up too. What if 6 months from now, that's you? Are you building a career that gives you enough freedom to spend the time you need and deserve with those you love? The rule I share with residents and fellows is, you can do anything for a year or two to make money. Yes, even 5 years you can maybe do. But you know what? Every 5 years you need to step back and recognize that you are literally trading your life for work. Ask yourself, is this really serving me? Does it move me closer toward my personal purpose in life? If not, stop and go in another direction. There's more than one way to do everything and anything. And guess what? You get to choose. Every day you're either creating or destroying things around you. Most days you're doing both, either consciously or unconsciously. For that reason, some of the episodes will focus on legacy. Legacy is what a person creates or destroys during the course of their physical existence. Just like there are personal grooves that can make your life path easier, there are also career grooves that can torque your practice and make your career path easier. These fall into 4 main categories: performance, profits, autonomy, which is another name for freedom, and power or influence. The Doctor's Mentor Show exposes you to effective ways to measure your own progress. My guests are experts inside and outside of medicine. They've been where you are. You get access to their business and professional expertise, their habits, and what they're doing cool in their lives. The goal is to increase your practice profits and freedom so you live an inspiring life. You become a more conscious creator of your professional results and strategically plan out your legacy. As your legacy grows, so does your influence in your community and out in the world. Anything you create in this physical world is a part of your legacy. It might be a book, a new joint venture, or even a new baby. Isn't it interesting that your ability to create hinges on a deeper ability to love? You're thinking, love? What's love got to do with it? Love ultimately motivates you to be a positive force in the world. The episodes of the Doctor's Mentor that fall into the love category will focus on helping you re-engage with your emotions, since most doctors operate in a state of comfortable numbness and sometimes forget to take that off and re-engage with their feelings every day. As you listen, you begin to master effective communication strategies and learn what messages you are sending your patients, like my doc, who didn't like to touch patients. I guess it's time that I fess up and tell you what I did after she touched me and why I still feel a little guilty. So here we are in the exam room. I'm flat on my back and she's examining me. I realize she doesn't like to touch patients. And instead of being a great mentor and openly discussing it with her, either at that time or writing her a note or doing something about it, I did what most patients do when they're under the thumb of a doctor or any other authority figure. I didn't say a word. I just didn't say anything. I didn't write her a letter later. I didn't fill out a comment card. I just let her go on about her career, feeling awkward as she touched patients and not realizing that each patient feels it, and her lack of confidence in using her hands makes them uneasy. As a result of my silence, you now have the benefit of the Doctor's Mentor Show, designed to help healers be comfortable, confident, and congruent as they engage with patients and peers. Part of what you'll hear is a call to lighten up. Lighten up! The most valuable mentoring lesson I've ever received was from pediatric radiologist Leonard Swisschuk. At the end of my fellowship in pediatric radiology, he sat me down and he told me, "Lori, the most important thing I can encourage you to do is to never take yourself too seriously as a doctor." He then went on to name a doctor who had lost his wife, another who'd become an alcoholic, and a third who'd killed himself, all because they took their roles as a doctor too seriously. Yes, here at the Doctor's Mentor, you'll have ample opportunities to laugh at yourself and with your peers. I love bringing you interviews with the doctors who've created personas that entertain and enliven those with whom they work. Learning to laugh more gives you the freedom to forgive yourself for the mistakes you make, and believe me, we make mistakes every day, and to forgive others for being human and making mistakes too. It allows you to be more resilient in stressful circumstances and to appreciate the ironies of life. Now, without further delay, let's get to your questions. Nod your head up and down if you're asking, about how long is this show? My goal is to make it at least 12 minutes long, since that's the minimum time one should exercise every day, and no longer than 30 minutes, since that's the average commute time. Raise your hand if you're curious about, where's she getting this stuff? Rest assured, the sources are listed in the show notes at www.thedoctorsmentor.com. I fell in love with journalism before I developed my passion for healing. I point you in the right direction when you're ready to dig deeper about something you've heard on a show. Say yes if you'd like to know, how do I ask a question? Go to www.thedoctorsmentor.com and join the community. That's where you can access the platform that lets you ask questions, get answers, and get featured for your expertise. This show is about giving you the gift of what you need to take your next step in your career path. And that doesn't mean a giant leap. It means the next 1 or 2 steps you need right now. If you're a high school or college student thinking about a healing profession, or a medical or allied health student, or a resident or a fellow, you'll breathe easier knowing we've already been down that road. If you're an academic or in private practice, or a hospitalist, or even an institutional physician, we have answers and some fun for you. I'm always open to your ideas and will do my best to give you access to any guests you request on the show. Let's recap. This is the Doctor's Mentor Show. When you listen, you optimize your career in the areas of performance, profits, freedom, and influence. You are more resilient as you face daily challenges that many people can't fathom. As a result, you influence your patients, peers, and family to do the same. You live a more inspiring, confident, and congruent life because you have more time and more resources to do the things you love with the people you love. Next time you look up, you notice just how much you are changing the world. I'm Dr. Lori Barr, the Doctor's Mentor, reminding you that one idea is all it takes to change your world.
There's more to explore at thedoctorsmentor.com.
Are you stopping at a hospital? Hello? Don't you know that hospitals are one of the sickest places on the planet? Don't touch anything in there and get out as fast as you can.